Romania and Bulgaria are already in. On January the 1st, it's just about ending all work restrictions.
The newspapers are saying the gates are opening, there's going to be a flood of Romanians. Is that something you recognise?
Absolutely not, because Romania has joined the European Union 7 years ago. So in the last 7 years, those Romanians who wanted to go and work and live abroad, they already did so. And a very tiny minority of Romanians have chosen Britain as their work destination.
Back in Romania, there's another side to the country, the middle classes with very different attitudes towards the UK. Whilst we're filming, my brother-in-law is offered a job in the UK. He and a group of friends were enjoying a drink in their favourite bar in Bucharest. The job is for a US computer giant based in London. I'm intrigued to find out if he'll take it.
Most people would think you'd leap at the chance and say, great, a UK-based job.
No, not really.
Oh, what did you say?
There should be a lot of money involved to motivate me to make such a big
So you
change.
said I'll only come for pots of money, did you?
Not quite, but that was the message. Yeah.
And what about the others?
You've been to the UK, haven't you?
Yeah, I lived in the UK for 2 years. I used to work for a British company.
Then why did you leave?
I thought 2 years were enough for me to get the British experience and then move on.
Have you been to the UK?
No.
Do you want to go?
Yes, on vacation.
And as they point out, it's not just the UK lifting its work restrictions next year. There are 8 other European countries doing the same.
I don't really understand why they feel they are the only privileged people who will receive the flood of Romanians.
But we did find some people interested in exploring the UK jobs market. At this careers fair for medical professionals, British recruiters are having to work hard to attract the cream.
The Romanians are in huge demand in Germany. The Danish are here and they will recruit as many as they can. The Scandinavians are here. The demand for them all over Europe is huge.
When Romanians migrate, most look south towards the Mediterranean and Italy, where the language is closer to theirs. There are over 1 million Romanians already there. Spain is second with 800,000, even though it has similar work restrictions to the UK. Britain is way behind, with an estimate of just over 100,000. Some countries believe migrants bring economic advantages and they offer incentives to come.
You have companies here that give courses to teach German, and any doctor or nurse we find with a reasonable level of German will get a job in Germany very, very easily, probably easier than working in the UK.
Even so, we find Aura Popper, a graduate pharmacist.
Nice to meet you.
She's just been offered a job in Dudley, near Birmingham. She fell in love with the UK after being a student there. For all migrants, mastering English opens up the international jobs market. Still, the decision for Aura is not a simple one. At home, she's got 6-year-old Luca and 10-month-old Emma. They won't be able to come with her until she knows the job's permanent. After much thought, she decides to take it.
I hope my children will love England as much as I do, because I really like that country, and that is where I want to live for a long period of time.
Her husband, Ciprian, will stay with the children in Romania for the moment.
It will be a difficult period for me staying without them, but I hope a short period of time. As soon as I get more confidence over there, I can bring them. So I will work very hard to bring them quickly.
This is the family's last evening together. She leaves tomorrow, and they're not sure when they'll be reunited. Graduates like Aura are not the ones worrying most people, though. It's the unskilled and the uncounted who currently live beneath the radar, like the men in Cricklewood and Alex. Despite his good intentions about securing a proper job in the new year, you can see how he might become a burden to the UK taxpayer. There are already signs of just how vulnerable he can be.
I worked for 3 days on someone's property. They drove me far away. I didn't even know where I was or how to come back. I waited for 2 or 3 days and I tried to call, but when no one answered, I had no money left and I didn't have anyone to borrow money from.
He never got paid. And what about next year? Could he really earn enough to support his family if his wife decides to come to London as well? We agreed to deliver a video message when we meet up with her. Alex comes from a small, mainly Roma village, Augustine, just up the road from the last one we visited. It's another place where many of the men have already left to find work all over Europe. His partner, Magda, lives in this half-built house with their 3 small children.
Very good to see you. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you?
What will you do next year? Do you plan to join him in Britain?
For a short period of time, 4 or 5 years maybe. Of course, I can't permanently live in a foreign country.
But are there any incentives that would encourage her to come? Do you know anything about claiming benefits in the UK? Have you heard anything about that?
No.
Has your husband mentioned it at all?
No.
Would you go to England just to get benefits?
No.
What would be the point of leaving Romania just for social benefits?
No.
Others we spoke to said the same. We went inside to see the video Alex had sent to his family.
Tati, vezi?
What do you think when you see that?
Nu știu, ne-e dor de el.
If they do come, this is the kind of place they might choose to settle. Migrants have been arriving in Slough for generations. 58% of people here are non-British nationals, and some are sick of it. This is a town where there's already been tension between some of the local population and East European migrants, and right now they're worried about Romanians.
The major problem for us is the actual resources like schooling, housing, NHS. That's not just related to Romanians. That is increase in population. It's a challenge for the council and the police. The police and council are working together to sort of resolve the issue.
Those kinds of worries are reflected across the country. A recent poll suggested that 85% of people thought immigration is placing too much pressure on public services. At the YMCA, community leaders are discussing the Romanian newcomers, mostly Roma.
I've still got to say about the gathering round the side of my flats. But not long ago there was 50 there and they made such a noise with their talking so loud. They were out there till about 2 o'clock in the morning. You go the next day and the place is covered with litter.
But the YMCA has developed cohesion programs for the local community, including the Roma, educating the children and trying to win hearts and minds.
One of the things I get annoyed at is the amount of negative press about them. As a community, they've been accepted now, and the young children now believe that they are part of this community.
But there are sloughs up and down the land, and particularly in lean economic times, some are worried the new migrants are a step too far, even those who are second-generation migrants themselves.
It's not just by the Romanians, the Bulgarians are coming too. Why haven't the government put a cap on this country with immigration?
Is it particularly Romanians that worry you?
Honestly speaking, yes, they do worry me more than others.
Why?
I don't know, it's just something that you can't pinpoint exactly why it is, but they like to keep themselves separate, away from you. They don't want to build that bond that
Maybe
we have
Pakistanis
done.
were like that when they first came and they didn't speak the language.
They were actually like that, but look at me today.
And there were many others in Slough with similar views. Now the government's so worried about potential benefit abuse by EU migrants that landmark changes are being implemented. From next year, any new EU migrant will only be able to claim benefits for 6 months. After that, they'll have to prove they have a realistic chance of finding a job, or the money will stop. And English language skills will be assessed to make sure they're employable.
But the timing of this suggests that it was against Romanians and Bulgarians in particular.
No, it's not just about those two countries. Our changes are about making sure that anybody coming here from anywhere in the European Union, they're coming here to work and contribute and not expect to claim from our benefit system. We've been very clear, and I've met with ambassadors from both of those countries, and I've been very clear, any of the rules that we're bringing in apply to all European Union nationals.
More than 70% of those Romanians who decided to come to Britain are of an age between 18 and 35. They are young, they are in good health, they do not ask for social benefits, they do not ask for health care. Those Romanians who came to Britain, they came to work, not for benefits.
Other landmark measures include the clearance of camps like these. From January, European nationals found rough sleeping, begging, or engaging in antisocial behaviour will be sent home and barred from re-entry for 12 months, unless they can prove they have a valid reason to be in the UK. There's even talk of capping the number of EU migrants. Some are worried all these changes are an attack on freedom of movement within the EU. Others, like UKIP, say that means the best solution is to leave the EU altogether.
Freedom of movement within Europe is one of those things that underpins the philosophy of Europe and the legal framework as well, and yet you're chipping away at that.
Well, I think the point that we've made is that we're perfectly happy with the principle, but we have to make sure it's not abused.
It's recalibrated.
Is the first. Well, that's right. I mean, we're in the European Union. The Prime Minister said that we do need to make some changes to the relationship, and that's something that if we win the next election, a Conservative government will renegotiate and then put that to the British people. But the Prime Minister's made it clear he wants to stay in the European Union, but with a changed relationship.
Since we filmed, Alex has returned to Romania. One of his children has a serious lung infection and is hospitalized. In the new year, he hopes to come back and work legally. He's still not sure his wife will join him. Aura has settled down so quickly at her pharmacy in Dudley, they've already promoted her. It means she can now bring her family to join her for Christmas.
I wanted this for a long time, and it's finally happening. It's like a dream come true. So I really don't imagine them being here. I don't imagine my husband, my son, my daughter, to start speaking in English and not Romanian. It's strange. It's like a dream come true.
How many will come here in the new year is impossible to say. The politicians might be talking as if they can control all of this, but in reality their hands are tied. This isn't just a debate about Romania and Bulgaria, but about the future of our relationship with Europe and how we might be able to change it.